Hey. I'm gonna read more of my book, Water. This chapter is called Death. Meg didn't die. She couldn't. I wouldn't allow it. This was unreal. I struggled with the rope, trying to untie it, but I had learned to tie knots too well. I shook my head even more, sobbing, not caring if I got water up my nose, not caring that I was almost out of breath. The tone in this is like all over the place. I thrust out, clawing the water, but I was just being pulled backwards. I would never see her again. There was nothing I could do. I reluctantly turned and let the boat pull me up. So if you remember, this is very confusing. Basically, a rope was tied to the boat, and Brandon had the rope tied around his waist, and he let the boat pull him up, but like that's not how that works, because like if you're towed behind a boat, I mean, like if you've ever ridden like a, I don't know, like what are those things called, like inner tubes, or like if you ever like water skied, you know that like a boat can't pull you up like that. So anyway, the boat pulled him up though. The last word she said was help, I thought as I surfaced, coughing my lungs out and snorting. She asked me for help and I didn't fulfill her last request. I can hardly describe how I felt. There was a lump everywhere. In my throat, in my stomach, in my heart. Oh. I love that. There was a lump everywhere. I was sobbing my eyes out until my eyes were dry. Oh God. I felt lightheaded, but I didn't faint. I wanted to faint, to die, to be with Meg. I couldn't imagine life without her. I could feel the stone in my hand. A wave of anger washed over me. I didn't need this stupid stone. I hate stones. The dorkiest person in my school has a pet stone. Why would I need one? I want a gun, not a stone for my birthday. What? I hate stones. I hate stones. I hate stones, I bellowed and threw the stone out to the sea. In that same instant, something very strange happened. This was the third unreal thing that happened today. I think there was a lot more than that. Why do weird things keep happening to me? Was I chosen for this? Oh, you'll see. Why? A voice in my head started saying, I don't need you, stupid. I hate you. The dorkiest person in the world would like you. Why would I need you? Anything in the world could replace you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. Something jerked inside of me, and I was thrown out to the sea and pushed underwater, rope gone, completely petrified and unable to move. I knew in that instant the stone was controlling me. Okay, now I know this is a dream. Things like this just don't happen. In movies maybe, and dreams, but not in real life. Now all of a sudden, this stuff is happening to me. This is a really long and eventful dream. Indeed it is. But somehow it didn't feel like a dream. I needed to face the problem at hand. I was going to drown. I was going to drown. I was going to drown just because I was cruel. I was cruel to a stone. I was cruel to the stone that was controlling me. This is not happening. Well, at least I would be in the same place as Meg. Just then I saw her. I jumped violently and yelled, bubbles coming out of my mouth. I'd never seen a dead person before, not even at a funeral, and I never imagined I would see my dead sister. She looked ghostly, just floating there with her hair sticking out in all directions, mouth open, skin pale, eyes closed. A lump burned in my throat, and in your heart and in your stomach. At least we would die in the same place. My lungs were on fire and I felt lightheaded. I knew I was going to pass out soon, knew that my lungs would fill up with water, knew I was going to die. I fixed myself in a manly position so people wouldn't freak out when they saw me. Face down, I saw my stone and hers at the bottom of the sea. The things that had caused our deaths were now mocking us, laughing in our faces. Still, I was surprised I could distinguish them from the rest of the stones. I guess I had gotten to know them well. Just then I knew what I had to do. I knew how to save our lives. I didn't realize that the paralyzing feeling ended until now, when I had arranged myself into that manly position. Yeah, so the rules of how the stones work are not very consistent and are very confusing. So just basically it's just like plot device. like whenever I need a plot device, the stone does something. I realized I was able to pick up our stones and did so. How are you still alive? You've been underwater for so long. I felt a slight jerk, but nothing else. With my baseball and wrestling strength, disregarding my lightheaded weakness, I threw the stones to the surface of the water. Please, I thought, please let this work. Nothing happened. I shook my head. I knew this was a long shot. I knew this wasn't going to work. We were going to die. I knew. Suddenly I saw Meg's body fly past me. Oh my god. How is she still alive? I mean, no spoilers. My eyes became wide and I blinked because of the salt water. I felt an invisible force push me up, going 60 miles per hour. Just like that train. Or what felt like it. I broke the surface, shot up a few feet, and fell back into the water. Meg was face down in the water. Yeah. I pulled her up. She wasn't breathing. I was too late. Wait, maybe I can still save her. I pounded her back as best I could in the water, keeping her face down, but not in the water. I saw water coming out her mouth and stopped. Was I supposed to stop? Was I supposed to breathe in her mouth? Was I supposed to keep pounding? But Meg answered that question for me. She was coughing on her own, coughing up water. Yeah, so how is she alive? Because she was underwater for a really long time. Then her breathing became even. I rolled her over and she looked up at me. They're still in the water, by the way. This is like where they should have died. And then the rest of the story just like wouldn't have. You know, maybe something that would have saved this is that like I could have made them like be able to breathe underwater, but like they wouldn't have known. Because they have like, I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious at this point. They have water powers. So I could have like made them be like, oh no, I have to hold my breath, and then they like breathe, and then they're like, wait, I can breathe underwater. Like, that would have been so much better. Anyway. She gave me a weak smile and closed her eyes. I noticed her stone closed up in her hand. Wait, where is my stone? I looked frantically around. Even though our rocks almost killed us, they still saved us. And I even felt a slight connection to mine. I stuck my head underwater, but it wasn't there. Where was it? Suddenly I realized that my hand was still clenched from pounding on Meg's back. In fact, now that I realized it, my hand was getting cramped and stiff. I just like roll my eyes at this character. Because he's like me. He's me when I was a kid. Just like not noticing anything and like being stupid. And he's also me now. I opened the clenched hand. My stone was there, sitting in the palm of my open hand. I gazed at it. How did it get there? Well, this was the least of my problems. Meg and I were in the middle of the ocean. She was just regaining consciousness, and all we had was our stones and a couple of soaked dollars. Oh, I guess he's not me, because I don't even have that. How are we going to survive even now when we weren't drowning? I suppose we could eat the money, but that wasn't much nutritional value. And what about the dangerous sea creatures? We could barely see the dock since the stones had pushed us out so far. And I don't think the distance had to do with my strong arm. Were the rocks trying to kill us again? Brandon! Meg yelled so suddenly that I almost dropped her. The boat! It's leaving! I realized she was talking in her sleep. I shook her. Meg, I said. Meg, wake up! I am awake, Meg said, and I think she was telling the truth. I can hear the horn. The boat's leaving. She was still delirious, but I realized she had something there. In fact, I could hear the horn too. The horn? The horn! The boat was coming. It was about to pass us. I looked around and I saw the tiny boat off in the distance. Then I realized that it had already passed us. The stones had dropped us off behind it. It was going the other way. Meg was right. The boat was leaving. That entire paragraph was just such filler. Like, oh, Meg, don't be stupid. The boat's over there. It's coming? No, it's, oh, yeah, anyway. There was only one thing I had to do. I had to swim for it. Meg, I said, grab onto my foot. You know that rope you had tied around you is pretty long, Meg replied. I had no idea what she was getting at. So? I asked. So, I can still see it. It's going right past us. Oh, I exclaimed. Geez, Meg was sharp, even when she was close to death. She noticed the rope around me. Even as she was recovering from the brink of death, she noticed the rope going past us. Right there, Meg exclaimed in a weak voice. There's the rope. And I saw it, my humongous knot, the loop, the connection to the ship. I grabbed the knot, slipped Meg under the loop, and kept a hold of the rope. We were saved. We were saved! Joy welled up inside me. I started to laugh. At the same moment, Meg leapt into the water. Animus went to his fleet of fire sharks. He set all 49 sharks after us. This was the first attack from the other side. Or so we thought. Okay, this chapter is really long, so I'm gonna end it there and pick it up in the next video. Bye!